This week on RSBANDB Update, Thieving goes to 120 with Heists, supercharged pickpocketing, and a blueprint for future skill expansions. Stealth, electrocution, and siege engines play a role in some of the best Thieving XP, while reward offerings are accessible and grand. This is RSBANDB Update, episode 1065, recorded Thursday, November 27th, 2025. Locked in Heists. Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of RSBANDB Update. This week, Thieving goes to 120, and with it, Heists, new skill training methods, and the rise and subsequent fall of pickpocketing all in the span of a couple of days. But of course it is American Thanksgiving, so Tanis is not here, but Zerdone's here. Welcome aboard.
Howdy. Happy to be here.
Everyone's second favorite. Sorry, that's Pern's thing. Everyone's favorite clan quester.
Yeah, that's Pern's thing.
We'll go with everyone's favorite clan quester. You're probably the favorite one.
I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with
My
that.
favorite, for sure.
He's also my favorite Eastern Canadian, I think. Because
it's top of a small list, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Also, Pernasius, everyone's second favorite Australian.
G'day all.
And Lemon, ranked 60th, I think we said last time is what it was. Iron Man in the world. Big deal.
Yeah, and since the last time I was here, I was the first to max XP on leagues, so yay.
Hey.
Right on. How's
Huge.
the Michelin Milkmaids doing?
Good. We actually we replaced one of our players a couple weeks ago, so we've been training up the new kid, and he's been doing great.
Voted off the island?
Yeah, you know, you got to pull your weight around here, otherwise you're gonna get replaced.
Fair
so.
enough. If you guys want to follow along as we do this episode, full show notes can be found over at update.show. We have a community Discord over at update.show/Discord, and the friends chat can be found in game at BitsBytes. But of course, this episode of Update and all of them wouldn't be possible without our experienced here Patreon members this week. That is Amos Reed, Bladecom, Dominic R, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Keski, Lemon Launch, Luminos, Ricky A, Oasis, Snail Mage, The Naked Captain, and Tim. Big huge thank you to all those people. You'll be hearing more about the rest of our Patreon offerings in a little while, but let's just dive right into the Vault of Hereditas. RuneScape's first heist starting at level 95. What's our first thoughts on heist? Let's start with you, Lemon, being the guest.
The heists are great. I love them.
Okay.
I was gonna say no notes. One note for the Vault of Hereditas. I thought we learned we weren't going to use circles anymore. Why do the guards have circles?
Yeah, that's a fair point. A fair point.
But I love it. The heists are great. It's been so much fun. I really appreciate that the two of them are pretty distinct from each other.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the specific mechanics for the first one are different for the second one. So there's no patrolling guards. There's a lot of specific unique mechanics that are like really reflective of Hereditas, and I love that. It's just no notes.
All right.
Yeah, they do a good job
don't.
taking environmental cues.
Yeah.
They establish the setting through their mechanics, which is good.
Yeah. What else do you think, Zerdones? Anything that surprised you or blew you away walking in there?
I mean, I've only done a couple of runs of them. I've only had one complete run of the Anachronia one so far. That is a really big step up, I found. Mostly because it's the one that actually does
That's the movement
vault,
one.
Well, they're both movement ones to an extent. The vault, though, the only punishment is setback, really. Whereas Anachronia, it will there is actually a failure condition. You can just get booted out if you die.
Oh,
because you take damage.
Electrocuted.
So it electrocuted or burninated, or I guess you can also crush yourself to death by falling off the monkey bars.
Oh, really? How much
sure.
does that hurt?
I don't know. I haven't done it. I heard someone in Clan Quest was complaining about it, so I brought my agility key.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Yep.
First run in. Pern,
But I guess like theoretically that can kill you.
how does this
Yeah, no.
how does this relate to your inner convict? Because you and I say that in jest because you said as the Australian,
of course,
you
yeah.
unlocked.
We are descended from convicts, so
You unlocked-
you know.
ports first with the convicts, so here we go.
I did, yes. Yeah, no, absolutely love it. I think this is sort of a blueprint for an alternative to skilling bosses. Something that gives great XP, is very interactive. There's chances of death. It's not a sort of a run in AFK type thing. It's really good, very entertaining. I had no issues. My first run, obviously, I did it on the Iron Man, and it took me 22 minutes because I'm sort of diving into grass and watching and expecting them to sort of walk like they did with the dinosaurs, where they just turn on you suddenly. But the tracking, they walk to a straight pattern, so that's easy enough to do, and just a lot of fun, and just exploring, and little crevices you've got to squeeze through to find the extra chests and things like that. Overall, I couldn't fault it. It was just a lot of fun.
And the one thing I think I want to say in particular with the first one, the Vault of Hereditas, is that I feel like this one does two things in particular. The first thing I think it does is it establishes what stealth can be in RS when done in a modern way. I think that's number one. And I think the other thing this one does, specifically leaning in on its tie-in to Hereditas, is it was the one that first actually gave me an idea that what we have here in this heist is a blueprint for so many other things that are skilling related. And the thing that immediately jumps to mind for me is that, Pern, you mentioned, kind of leaning on, maybe as like an alternative to a skilling boss. But the thing that popped out to me was that if you did something like this and you made it in a way procedurally generated, which would be in order of magnitude more complicated to do, I believe, but let's just for a moment assume that was possible, I think that this is a way of modernizing dungeoneering. In terms of what we learned from these heists. And the first one kind of opened that up, in particular with just in terms of how there's traps in one case, but you could totally imagine that instead of picklocking a door or needing to power the shadow anchor to press the button, instead you have to chop down a series of logs and then burn them in the exact spot, or maybe in some other way make some kind of potion with herb lord that you would add on to it. So I think that this is a huge update for thieving in general, but it provides a blueprint for so much more when it comes to looking at RuneScape support skills, specifically dungeoneering in this case. So that's one of the things that I go in with on the first one. That was one of my first day thoughts on this. So I would also say that in terms of just leaning in on the lore ramifications, maybe there is an opportunity in the future for some other kind of heist at a more mid-tier level that was maybe more lore focused or something to that effect. So I just think there's tons of opportunities here for this.
It's a good framework. There is some scenery in Lunar Isle rework that kind of hints that they might put a heist there that could fill that niche.
Oh, interesting.
Maybe.
What?
Yeah, they added the bank vault, I'm assuming is what you're referring to.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that was probably intended more as like a cheeky jab at next week's update. But it's something that they could expand
What is next
on
week's
in the
update?
future.
Christmas.
Well, like when Lunar Isle came out, next week's update would have been this.
I see. Got it. Okay.
Because Lunar Isle rework came out last week, right?
Yeah, fair enough. Does anybody have any specific comments about things like the guard movement, or just how in general that felt in the Vault of Hereditas, because I think once you nail down the guard movement path, this heist becomes pretty simple to go through, I think.
Yeah, it's not very mechanically complicated. It is quite predictable. You have a lot of uh, tolerance for mistakes. Like, as long as you stay out of the ring, like, you have a lot of opportunities to get off on side paths, to dodge the ring.
Mhm.
Like, you have a lot of forewarning before the guard comes close to you. You don't have a lot of time once you're in the ring.
No,
Which is something that really tripped me up, because I was looking at it like, oh, this is the
it's
this
just
is
like
the
the
thing
big
from
game
Big
hunter, where it's going to give you a couple ticks
right.
to get out.
Yeah.
No,
But no, you have no time. You have one tick, I think, and I was,
Which is good.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fine. It bugged me at first, but as I thought about it, like, no, this is actually fine, because you do have so much warning.
Exactly, and because they do stick to a predicted path, I
Yeah.
don't mind that. So yeah, I got caught the first time. I got, oh bugger, he hit me and bang, and and then you realise, oh no, well, I can get away. The only thing is the underground grass. I think they could have done something sort of more related to that than just sort of copy paste from Big Game Hunter. But that's a minor.
that's
niggle.
minor. That's minor.
I think
Exactly.
I think independent of whether or not, like, the grass itself is a good idea, I feel like I didn't even realize the grass was there at first. So I think there is a bit of a graphical muddling, which I think has to do with just all of the shadowing going on, which makes sense thematically, Vault of Shadows, all that. But it does make it sometimes hard to read the environment.
Yeah, Shane told me about the grass before I went in, so yeah, I didn't really have any problem with that because I knew to look for it. So
Well, I think, like, you also don't really need it in most cases.
no,
I think there's a couple of places where I think you do need in order to hide, but for the most part, like, you can hide in
you
corners.
step out exactly.
Yeah.
Or squeeze through a little crevice into the next
Yeah.
room and things like
Yeah.
that. But I love those little
Yeah.
crevices because it's just like, oh yeah, bang, come
Yeah,
find me
it
now,
really-
dude.
In terms of those
it does reward
crevices,
you.
I had a few of my introductory heists that were not complete, in the sense that, you know, it was a few runs in until I got the achievement for clearing everything, because in terms of the environment, I found that there were things that I was, you know, just missing to that point. Like I missed a few of the chests to even let me get into that last room, because you in the last section you go into the room with the big chest first, but if you have the shadow anchors, you can go into the other room on the far end of the chamber and then make your way back. And I didn't have enough shadow anchors to do that at that point, or pylon batteries. So everything is, you know, with that well hidden in terms of how they fit in with the environment. And we'll have to check in with Tanis after he's back to see if he has any accessibility thoughts on this, because I could imagine that might be something there. Another thing I wanted to mention with this is when you're looting the dead guards, if you are not using the crystal mask ability, there is a higher chance, because they build up the spirit disturbance, that you will actually spawn one of those walking guards that will just appear over that body temporarily.
That tripped me up a couple of times.
But it doesn't actually walk.
No, it
doesn't walk. It stands in place for a
Yeah.
few seconds, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
That tripped me up a couple of times because, first off, I didn't realize, like, I didn't know it would do that, first off, so I got caught when it spawned. And then I wasn't sure it was going to go away. But
Sure,
also,
yeah.
like, I wasn't, at first, I wasn't sure how you were meant to deal with that. So what I tried to do was, once I got, because it's 4 stages, I think. There's 3 stages of building the bar, and then on the 4th, it spawns. So what I did was I got the bar filled, and then I backed away, and I thought, oh, what I need to do is I need to wait for this to go down. But it didn't go down. The bar just went away, so I went back to pick it again, and then, oh, no, didn't wait long enough. Oops. So that was kind of annoying. But
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that I find really frustrating about the guards is really frustrating is an overstatement. Slightly annoying about the guards is on the last successful pickpocket you have on them, it will root you in place for a tick.
Oh, really?
So if you spawn the guard at the same time, or
Right.
if you are waiting to just dive out at the last second for a guard that's coming in on patrol, you can get caught off there, and it's just like,
Yeah, that's
ultimately it's
annoying.
me being greedy, trying to just tick perfect everything, and it's just been a little frustrating, like needing to step back and go, okay, no, I need to take like a 5-second loss here, because if I don't, I'm gonna get caught, and then it's just gonna be it's gonna be very frustrating.
Yeah, that's fair.
I find it really interesting. You said earlier, Zerdones, that the vault is less punishing than the arsenal,
Mhm.
which I agree with until you understand the arsenal. Like once you've
Yeah.
done it a few times and you have a good sense of what the timing is for everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
After that point, the once you get over like not being stacked out and killed, the amount of loot that you tend to lose in a run is very minimal, because if you
Right.
if you lose too many, you're just dead.
Sure.
Whereas with the vault, it's a lot easier for me to take to get caught, 3, 4, 5 times, and then suddenly not be able to get the full 500 points because I've just been caught too many times.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
it's less. I guess a way to think about it is maybe that it is more punishing, so that you are, and it forces you to be better. Whereas it's easier to get away with being a little bit more sloppy with the vault.
That is
the,
absolutely true, I think.
Yeah, the vault more rewards. The vault. I don't want to say rewards exactly, but yeah, the vault is more punishing if you're trying to speed run it badly. Whereas,
amazing.
like, if you're like me and you're just kind of creeping along, like I said, I've only done a couple of runs of each of them. Like if you're just kind of going through slowly trying to figure it out, like it's very straightforward. It's not
Right.
It's very it eases you in. But then there is that very steep ramp up where you need to be very careful if you're trying to go through very quickly and maximize your runs per hour. Whereas, yeah, the vault is the other way around. Like the vault is, there's a lot where you need to be moving very quickly. You need to have a good understanding of the timings. You need to have a pretty good understanding of how the movement mechanics work.
Yeah,
Because movement mechanics in RS are very non-intuitive at times, and I don't think that's exactly a good thing to like.
I was gonna bring that up extensively with the Arsenal. So
I have this complaint about other parts of the game as well. I made this complaint about the Song from the Depths quest. I don't feel like it's good game design to make the basic mechanics an obstacle.
In terms
like, if you're fighting
so would that
against
be
the
like
game
movement
mechanics,
then?
Yeah, movement.
Okay.
Like if you're fighting against the basic mechanics of the game, if you're saying like the basic mechanics of the game are an obstacle for you to overcome, to me that you're drawing attention to the fact that your game sucks.
My main
Yeah.
issue was in that pylon room where you charge the crystal and you've got to follow that actual path that
Oh,
sort
yeah,
of
yeah.
lights up.
Mhm.
You've got to go to click on that first square and you'd click on the gate because the gate clicks on,
Yeah.
and you'd step back out and it's gone, oh, Jesus.
My
that's-
feedback for
I
that
did
would
that
be
several times.
would be to have
But
that
yeah.
path appear for another 2 ticks, probably
A little longer.
Just to have that
Yeah,
stick
it
around
is
for a
very,
little longer.
very short.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lack of what in OSRS they would call true tile is really apparent with the with the heists. There's a visual desync between where your character appears to be and where your character actually is.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with that, it can lead. I imagine it could lead people to a lot of frustration.
So effectively,
Yeah.
what that means is that your character is at a different spot on the server than your client showing it. Most of the
Yep.
times, just one tile or so ahead of where you are, but in weird and odd situations, sometimes it can be 2 or 3 if you're running or there's other things happening.
If you're running, it's 2,
in the zone.
Animation stalls for sure can be really funky.
And see, that's the thing.
It's really noticeable in the vault when you have projectiles that you're dodging, because they can just go straight through you. And it's like, why does this work? What?
Yeah. and see, that's
how am I not dead?
And see, that's the thing. For people who come here to hear me complain about old school and combat, that's the entire thing about the combat system in that game, Zerdones, that you were saying that really just irks me the wrong way, is that, like you said, movement as a mechanic, you have to question just why exactly a game is doing such a thing like that. So,
well, I don't think movement itself is a problem. I think it's just like the fact that movement in RuneScape is so janky, and that jank seems to be like when you embrace that jank as a game mechanic, that kind of nags at me a bit.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, movement itself is a fine mechanic, but yeah,
you just got to do it right.
Right, exactly.
And that speaks with the idea of, with everything we know, why were the ranges of the patrolling guard circles instead of squares? As one example. So
I'm never gonna get over that. It's just so frustrating. You can be standing in the circle and be perfectly fine.
Yeah, because the circle's a lie.
I noticed that more on Big Game Hunter than I did on this, but yes, I can agree with that one.
It's like you can learn it, but like,
yeah,
it's not intuitive,
right? And that's the thing. How easy is it to learn?
I mean, it's pretty easy.
Like if we didn't have, if people didn't have podcasts telling them, if people didn't have movement guides for PVM and combat, how easy would it be to learn the movement of this game?
I mean, it wasn't.
Like, I don't think
we played this game for a long time without really knowing how the movement.
Yeah. And to be clear, that does not detract from the Vault of Hereditas. It doesn't detract from that. That's some of my favorite content that's probably ever been released this week. I just want to make that
I played this
clear.
Game for like.
It's your favorite of this week's content? That's not a high bar.
I mean, content that was released this week, that's some of my favorite of this year and this decade, let's just say.
Yeah.
Be a little bit more clear on that.
I played this game for, almost 2 years before I realized there was a wiki and podcasts and all that on it. So,
yeah. Are you guys ready to move on to the Asuran Arsenal?
Yes.
Quick. Oh yeah, move on to the Arsenal. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I won't contribute much to this one because I haven't actually tried this one yet.
I was wondering, you don't have anything else, Lemon, for the vault?
Not for the vault specifically, but I should just say before I forget, because it's not anywhere in the game. You got to go to external sources to figure this out. But according to Mod Sponge on Twitter, lockpicks give a 3% success rate increase to chests, and I think for also the doors in the arsenal.
Yeah, you think, yeah.
And the master lockpick from safe cracking gives 7% better chance.
Yeah,
so,
I have to go back and do saves because I never got the lockpick and the stethoscope that can go on the tool belt. So I got to go back.
I did that over the weekend. So it's worth noting that the master stethoscope isn't any better for heists. It's just the convenience of not having to.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about it.
And it should also be stated that you can do safes without having done the Lost Her Marbles mini quest, but it's going to be extremely slow. Don't do it. Go do the mini quest, and also after you've done the mini quest, make sure you talk to the safe cracking tutor. Otherwise, again, it's going to be very slow.
Yes.
So.
It is actually on the wiki. All those things too.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. The wiki is updated with all this stuff. I actually do have one other small comment about the vault, and this is a very small thing. I wish there were a visual indicator of when you've depleted.
Oh God, yes, I was going to say that. Yes,
because there's a visual, like if you're 100%ing, like there is a lot of backtracking in both heists, a fair bit of backtracking. And if you're trying to 100% get everything, like there's a visual indicator for the safes because the door opens. There's a visual indicator for the chests because they open, but there's no visual indication for the bodies, and that's a little annoying.
Yeah.
Doesn't a little pop-up come up saying you've done 100%?
Yeah, but
It
like
does.
once you've left the room.
Oh,
then,
sorry. Yeah.
Like once that goes away.
It also only pops up when you interact with it after you've fully depleted it, which will naturally happen after you fully depleted it, because it doesn't kick you off until after you try to interact with it again. But if you say dive away,
Okay,
to get away from a guard, then you end up going back to it and then find out that actually that one was all done. So anyway, we're going to move on.
It's a small complaint,
but that's I mean, on other things, like if you're doing that down in Santistan, once you've depleted the nodes down there, the guards and all that, they just blank. So when you hover over them, you can't do it. So I mean, I'm sure that would be easy to bring across to this.
Yeah, or just make them have like a tiny little sparkle on them, kind of like the Croesus front things do when they're active.
Anything, something like that.
That would be minor in that case. But that's a good call out. Because I was thinking the exact same thing in my other thought in my head, because I spent the weekend sailing before this update, was that, this would just be a RuneLite plugin in the other game.
And just to let everyone know, when Shane says he spent the weekend sailing, it wasn't real life sailing out on the water. He was on OSRS.
We have to clarify these things.
All right. But there's no water around me.
Imagine Shane out there, tacking the bow and.
I mean, you can go sand sailing. You can sail in the desert. It's fine.
I don't live in a desert.
I assume it's all desert. I assume it's all desert out west. It's just blank expanse as far as the eye can see.
Okay, so the Asuran Arsenal, very bottom of Anachronia, south of the Zolo City and Laniakea. This one tops out at level 114 to access the safes. In this heist, level 108 otherwise to access everything else. And
how do we feel about that, by the way, that there's a requirement to get into it and then a secondary requirement to fully access the heist, if you will?
Oh, like the
also,
I don't mind
unlocking Anachronia.
Also, the agility shortcuts all have requirements as well.
Oh,
well, you have that in the first one too. Don't forget, you can't.
Yeah, you do.
You got 95 to get in there, but if you want to do the safes, you have to have 102.
That's a good question. What are the agility requirements in general for these things? Because that was obviously a non-issue. I didn't even think of that.
On the vault, on the Arsenal, it goes up to I think 97. I only noticed this on the wiki like half an hour before we started.
Holy crap!
Yeah, the monkey bars are 97. So
I mean, I think that's fine. Like first off, like having other skill requirements, I think like it's good. It gives you a reason to train those skills, which especially for agility, God knows agility needs all the reason to train it can get. But even just for thieving, like I don't see that as a problem. Like if you can go in, you can do half to 2/3 of the heist, still get good XP. Like you're not gonna get perfect XP, but you still get pretty good XP from doing that. I don't see that as a bad thing. And there's an extra bonus for
and it's not an unusual thing. I mean, don't forget, even in Prifddinas, if you want to do waterfall fishing, it's not just your 97 fishing. You've got to have range as well to be able to get up on that cliff. So it's not an unusual.
And you've also got multiple tiers at the waterfall for higher fishing levels. You can do more things, more efficient things.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting that you mentioned that about the agility, because when you look at the Arsenal in particular, this one's dangerous to the point you can die. So if you're a hardcore,
and you probably will.
Yeah, I did that a few times. Anybody else here on the panel?
Did too. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, too many to keep track of.
Okay, fair enough. So this one starts off fairly innocuous, like the vault in the first room. You think it's probably going to be, just more of the same in terms of picklocking and picking chests, but lo and behold, I'm calling this one the movement-based heist because pretty much as soon as you cross out of this main room, you got to run very quickly or employ the movement abilities of Surge and Dive to get through the middle part of the room before the sentry reappears.
Yeah.
So,
was
that everyone else finding as well?
Yes, you have to be quite quick. It's very tight timing on it, and it annoys me. Like the fact that the timing is tight doesn't annoy me so much. It annoys me that it's not clear that it is a timed thing, and nothing else in the heist I think is timed. Like there's lots of times in the heist where you have to interact with something.
What's? Oh, sorry, in the first room.
Yeah, in the first room. Yeah, the sentinel in the middle,
yeah.
Or the keeper in the middle. Like it's not clear that is on a timer. So it's very easy. Like if you're not gunning immediately for the barrier, it's very easy to like be partway through and then suddenly the keeper pops back up and
sure,
crap, I'm now screwed. Because again, it's very tight timing in the vision ring.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a little annoying. And like the only other things in the arsenal that are on timers are just the automatic keepers that go on and off. So like this is the only thing where you interact with a switch, something happens, and you now have to react very quickly. And that I find that kind of annoying.
Mm.
How did you find the first bout with lightning going into that room on the opposite side of the keeper there?
The lightning didn't bother me because it's very well telegraphed. You have lots of time to move. It does seem like it's quite cheesable, I've noticed.
It is.
This entire heist is cheesable.
It's only on the two sides, right? There's nothing down the middle. There's no lightning down the middle, so you just need to step back from the door.
Right.
And then after that, you could even cut the corner after you appear because, just through the magic of the way the dive ability works, you can
dive is magical.
And same thing with the next room too. You can just surge right through the node on cannon things to the first chest and then escape back out to pick up the tablet.
Yes.
And then you have to be very careful.
Yeah, and I mean that one is just that little maze bit, I'll say, is just a matter of walking past and through as soon as the fireball crosses your character, and then after that
it's all about knowing your timing.
Yeah, it almost becomes easy to do after you realize what this is for timing. And I question a lot of the movement stuff with this heist because there was a part of the heist we'll get to where you can absolutely just completely ignore some of the mechanics if you do a well-placed dive surge or the equivalent with that. And we wonder necessarily if that's intended and if that's how it should be, but we'll get there when we get to the third part of this room. The other thing I think that this second room, when you first see it, it's like, holy crap, this room is going to be so daunting once you figure out what's going on here. So I kind of enjoyed that because it felt as though there was something to master there with that. How did everybody else feel about the difficulty of the second room?
Yeah, I really like that the difficulty is sort of front loaded. It makes it feel a lot more.
That's true.
A lot more masterful to pull off than maybe it actually is. You need to pick up the tablet and then ferry it across the room and stick it in another receptacle. And while you're carrying the tablet, you don't have access to your movement abilities, which I think is really great.
Yeah. You're also moving at half speed.
Right. You're stuck at walking speed.
Yeah. So it's sub walking speed, isn't it?
No, it should just be. I think it's just one. It's one tile per tick, is it not?
I never counted it.
Yeah, I didn't count it. I think
it's just walking speed.
Probably right.
But the thing,
I really love when they do take away the tools from us like that and make us really have to execute things.
Because the reality is, if you had dive surge, you could just get through both sides of this relatively easily. Because for people watching on the YouTube version, I just went from the tablet receptacle to the northern end of the room in one dive surge tick, and that was done there for that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And with that, we come to the other reason why you probably want to be at least 114 to take part in this safe is just because, or take part in this heist is because the safes give 35 loot each. So that's going to be one of the biggest components here for this one. So you can still do it, but it's not going to be as full if you don't have 114. So
yeah,
I just wanted to point that out. Then we come to the third part after this that involves the monkey bars. But actually, I'll go in order first. What do you guys do first in this room? Do you guys do the east, the west, or the monkey barring first in the third part here after this main?
I don't know which way is east and west. I do the lightning first.
Okay, the lightning is east.
I usually greed too hard and end up getting zapped. So it's good to know if I need to be planning on picking up any additional chests to make up for my.
Sorry, continue.
Just for making up for my mistakes.
Okay,
so.
Because I was going to say this heist took me upwards of probably 6 to 8 attempts to realize where everything was and clear it completely with that. Like I missed one of the main chests off both sides of these rooms and the work. But
yeah, it's very labyrinthine, especially this last room.
Yeah.
I like that they play with the verticality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the rest of this stuff here is simpler than what we probably saw in the first room and the second room in terms of ignoring the lightning and the cannons. And for that, I think the biggest thing to mention in this part of it is definitely the monkey barring up top. Yeah. So if you don't have, in that case, 97 agility, which I didn't realize was a requirement on that, I think you have to go up and around through one of the other crevices that you squeeze through. So that certainly changes the way that it plays.
I didn't even know you could. I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
You don't need to do the
super obvious.
Oh.
Yeah, I think the intended best solution for it, which I don't actually do, is to go up one side, go across, and then go down the other.
Okay.
But if you don't have the 97 agility for that monkey bars, you have to go up and then come back down and then go across and then go up and then come back down. So.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, to be fair, the first time I went through, I didn't know how you even got to the monkey bars. Like, I didn't see the agility shortcut.
And that's the other thing, is that
the handholds are easy to miss.
The crevices, the handholds, the rubble, because of the lighting in here, they're easy to miss at times. So
this is why we first explore it with oh shoot, what's it called?
The entity highlighting.
The entity highlighting.
The high contrast mode.
I was going to say we need to send someone through with a bucket of yellow paint.
Yeah, well, you can turn that on in your settings if you want. You can make it whatever.
Yeah, once you go through a couple times and figure out where everything is, it really makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
But the monkey bars and what comes after that, I think that's the peak cringe of dive surge movement ability in the game, because you can do this and you can skip what is effectively 3 cannons that have the potential to kill you and absolutely sap your loot to get to the other safe that is up here. And this kind of was a discussion I was saving for this exact point of the heist, is that this isn't necessarily intuitive. And my question for you guys is that, do you think that having movement hacks like this, let's just say, I know they're not hacks, they're 100% legit, but let's just call them that, because that's what they'd look like to people, because your character literally goes on the hypotenuse of a triangle if you are not if you are using that dive surge at that point. So how do we feel about this being the state of movement in RS3? Because I know old school at times gets a lot of flack for relying on movement so much, but I think that this is doing the same thing, except in an entirely different direction.
I think that if we were designing EOC in 2025, I don't think Surge and Dive are 10 tiles. That's a lot of tiles.
Yeah.
Heist has really got me thinking about that, where the idea of having these movement abilities is really cool. I think that it's really great. It's hard for me to think about what would be a good distance for these to be otherwise, because we're already moving at 2 tiles every tick. So 4 seems really insubstantial. Like 6 or 8 would be what you would have to cut it down to, but that's like 8 is still a lot.
Right, and then at that point you just round it up to 10 and you're where we're at right now.
I mean, I feel like my issue isn't so much with Surge and Dive themselves, because like one of the things I come from is that they're very useful for just navigating the overworld.
Mm-hmm.
And like it really cuts down on the commute, which is fantastic because commuting through large sandboxes is boring. So I love having it. Like that's fantastic. But it does become a problem in content like this, which is movement heavy when it allows you to cheese mechanics. So like to me, the issue isn't Surge and Dive themselves. It's we need to be careful about designing content so that it can't be completely trivialized. And like there are ways that you can see that being done in the heists, like
the tablets.
The tablet is one example. In the middle room, there's a bit where you have to walk on a little zigzaggy walkway, and that's another example because you can't surge through that. You can't dive through that. But there are like this one at the monkey bars, like there's weird interactions with scenery and like just like moving through projectiles that's really non-intuitive and feels like a bug. It's a bug in the sense that it seems unintended.
Right.
There are definitely scenery objects that you can just surge through. You can just dive through.
And that feels
that
wrong.
are solid walls.
Yep. And they exist elsewhere in the game as well. There's still buildings you can dive through, and it's funny to watch, but it's really bizarre. Like to me, that's one thing that should be fixed. Another one, maybe this is controversial. I feel like Surge and Dive shouldn't make you intangible.
What do you mean by that?
So like if you surge through cannonballs, you should take damage. And I think it doesn't. I think the reason it doesn't is an engine limitation, because Surge and Dive are effectively teleports. They're implemented basically as
running is a teleport as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah, running. Yes, you're right. It is.
So on that point, in one of the RuneScape Discord channels, Mod Sponge was talking about this particular issue, right? That especially that one section in that second room where you can literally just walk through one of the fireballs.
Yeah.
And he said that they could tighten up the hitbox on that such that you wouldn't be able to walk through it, but it would make it significantly harder because just the way that the interaction is handled. I'm not 100% sure on the technical details.
It would make the timing a lot tighter.
Yeah,
because you don't have that grace.
They would need to change that. Or I guess they would need to perhaps redesign it in a way where you just need to change exactly what the specifics of the timing are to make it more of a window.
And see, the thing is that
it's jank. It's RuneScape jank. I mean, at the end of the day.
And the thing with this is that there's other cases like this too in PVM where you can do the exact same thing to ignore a mechanic that makes it look like you might actually be walking into that mechanic instead for various of the bosses that have movement-based mechanics on the ground. So, I mean, it's a huge can of worms that if you start nitpicking at it from this heist, you're going to have to start nitpicking at it for all the combat PVM encounters, and I think we know how that's going to go. So,
well, they can just say the magic I word, and then everyone will be fine with it. Just say it's integrity, and everyone will love it.
Just pretend you're the Flash and you're just vibing through those things.
But
I
want to be clear
ahead,
that I
Shane.
don't think this is a problem. I don't think this is a problem for the heist because, and part of the reason for it is that Mod Sponge was involved with this content, and he typically, over the last number of years, has been seen as one of the more combat PVM type J mods out there. So
Sure.
having that sort of lean to it and bringing those mechanics into skilling from that, I think gets an inherent blessing from the way this content was done, if that makes sense. So I don't.
Yeah.
I think it looks weird when you look at it on screen, but I think it's okay at the end of the day.
Yeah, the thing that I will say about the cheese of surge and dive as they get employed in the heist is that you can absolutely skip 90% of the obstacles in the arsenal with surge and dive, but that's not the most optimal way to do it. There's some, because if you're going to use surge and dive for everything, you're going to be sat around waiting for the cooldowns. So you can use it to skip some of the more difficult things and choose to employ it for certain obstacles. And you can get around more of these with using the power burst of acceleration. But it's not going to be, in order to have the most optimal pathing through the heist, you're going to have to deal with these difficult mechanics without using your special tools on everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's okay then, is basically the point we get to with that.
Yeah.
And
these were designed with these tools in mind, whereas
precisely,
what we've seen in the past is that we get these tools after the fact, and then it just kind of breaks everything.
Yeah.
And that's it. These are just our little nitpicks. I mean, it's nothing that is wrong with the content.
And to be clear, it is 100% possible to do both heists without any of the movement abilities.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Is there an achievement for that? I kind of assumed that there is, but I haven't actually looked.
I don't think there is.
The only achievements, there's an achievement for not getting caught. There's an achievement for getting everything, and for getting all of the lootable stuff.
Yep.
And there's an achievement for doing it in under 6 minutes. There's those 3 achievements for both heists.
I think that's a missed opportunity.
Well, I mean, it's an option to go back to later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is already quite a lot in this update. Yeah. There's quite a lot in this update, like expecting a skilling achievement mechanic on top of that is save something for next week. Come
on. Next week is Christmas, but in the meantime, people are wondering, well, what about the major rewards and the XP? We're going to get there, but before that, big huge thank you to all of our Patreon supporters out there this week. That is Alvaro L, Amos Reed, Arvids L, Bladecon, Chilbura, Dominic R, Duramax, Guy Lafleur, Imperialis, Jade Gizmo, Jason S, Jesse W, Julia W, Kesky, Lemon Lodge, Luminos, Mattman, Mighty Myth, Michelle M, Mike Wings, Mongrath, Pardassius, Ricky A, Robbie D, Rob Sobs, Samuel FL, Scott TS, Shirt Pants, Sioaces, Smavin, Snail Mage, no monkeys there this week, Tabby, The Naked Captain, The Dabbing Goat, Tim, Ukulele Steve, Woody, Zant, and Zazakon. Big huge thank you everybody for supporting us on Patreon. You guys make RSBANDB Update possible. If anybody's wondering what this is about, head on over to patreon.com/RSBANDB. Starting for as little as $1 a month, you can support the podcast. And for that price, you get access to a back catalog of 88 monthly bits. Those are bonus episodes that we do each and every month. You get voting rights on the monthly bits. The poll is up right now for the December monthly bit, and of course you'll also be helping fund the costs for hosting and production of the podcast. We also do have our community VIP tier where you get Discord rank and a Discord chat channel, plus a shout out at the top of the month and high quality stereo audio. You'll also take part in workshopping monthly bit ideas, submitting Patreon discussion topics on quiet weeks, and taking part in our community weeks, as well as providing to us the option of hearing production behind the scenes for various episodes and monthly bits. And we do also have the Insider tier, where for $5 a month you get a shout out on the show and access to our expanded clip archive. And of course, with this, you'll be invited to send in audio clips from time to time that discuss the month's updates. And with that, your thoughts could be heard on the episode. And the most timely feature of this tier is the Patreon Christmas card. I have those sitting in my desk right below me, but I'm not gonna spoil them on video here. If you want a Christmas card, you have until Monday to sign up for that, and everybody who has signed up for the Insider tier come December 1st will be receiving an RSBANDB update Christmas card if you elect to share your shipping info with us. So that's patreon.com/RSBANDB. Thanks so much, everyone. All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So let's go over some of the rewards here, starting off with the rares that come from the vault. So on the vault, we have the Gloomfire Bow, a tier 90 weapon, and this is effectively basically a better dark bow, I think, is what people have been saying. Is that a correct assessment on this?
Dark bow
it's giving plus. Dark bow for sure.
Yeah.
Fires 2 arrows at once, which I'm assuming it doesn't matter for EOC combat at all. But yeah, and the spec is reminiscent of dark bow.
And this is the one that I got, sold it for about 330 mil on day one there. What do we think about this? And I'll ask this question for each of them as we get through them. Do we think these are going to be primarily EOF fodder? Or are they actually going to be an option for people to use?
So I think that there is a case here for new account progression, where this could be a reasonable path forward through getting early PVM gear. Thieving is a pretty quick skill to train, and it seems reasonable enough
this
to
is on par with the Rax bow, the Nox bow.
It's a way to get a T90 bow that's not killing the spider 10 million times.
Sounds like a win to me.
Yep.
Obviously, the spider will still be relevant for noxious components for biting, but
yeah, I mean, stat-wise, this is just objectively superior. I mean, stat-wise, it's identical, but it has an actually useful spec.
If I were, I mean, I was gonna say, if I were making a new account, I would probably rush thieving. I mean, it's complicated a bit because necromancy exists.
Yeah, if necro didn't exist.
This
would be age-old question.
Conversation for another time, but I think that this update has really changed the meta for like Iron Man progression.
That's what I was going to say. This is great for Iron Man.
And see, the thing is, like, given the value that it's at right now compared to the dark bow, like, would you throw that in an EOF? Given that price, like, I know people throw their Saren God bows into EOFs, but
yeah, it has the same issue that dark bow has for range, which is it costs 65% adrenaline, which is a ton of adrenaline.
Yeah. And it's 465
it's better than a dark
damage
bow
versus 420 for the spec.
Yeah, it's better, but like a lot of people prefer a Zamorak bow instead of a dark bow because it's a lot more adrenaline efficient. I think Zamorak bow is 40%.
Oh, really?
Adrenaline. Yeah. So range is very spec reliant. Ideally, you want to be if your target is large enough, you want to be shooting off your SGB as often as you can, and you also want to be spamming out your split soul as much as you can, so it doesn't leave you with a lot of adrenaline. Even though you do have, I think perhaps if we see the meta change back towards crossbows with a tier 95 crossbow, and then Hydrix bolts become more realistic to use,
right?
Because I don't think that a lot of, I don't know, range is such an awkward combat style in terms of switches. It's like the people who do range are probably more likely to switch out to Hydrix bolts and a crossbow just for a Gricko, but like, anyway, I'm getting off.
Yeah, and the
I'm getting off
thing
tangent here.
that I wanted to ask in particular with these weapons is that, you know, we look at old school, and there's multiple different weapons that are hovering around, just like you have the best in slot tier, but then you have one tier below that, and you have a bunch of weapons that are hovering all together in that tier that you can pick a certain flavor that you like, or maybe it's better in a certain application. And my feeling is, and something I've been angling towards, and that's kind of one of the things that one of the monthly bits is about, is that is there an opportunity in RS3 to have similar horizontal niches like that, where you can have multiple tier 90 weapons that are all good, and they all do different things, and there's different situations where you may want the different ones, is kind of what I was thinking with these. But given the people's quick moves to, just throw things in EOFs, I think that's going to be the immediate thing that people go to for this weapon in particular. But
yeah,
if you're looking at it as a weapon itself, and you just drop the question of an EOF temporarily, it competes remarkably well with the spider bow, the Nox bow.
It does. Sure. I think broadly the problem with that kind of horizontal stuff in RuneScape 3 is because weapon diversity doesn't matter. Yeah. Ultimately, it always boils down to either stats or specs.
Whichever's going to give the most damage.
And once you're on the same tier of stats, when you're comparing specs, ultimately you're always battling against switching. And that digs into the question of, well, how much of a problem is Switchscape really? And that's a big can of worms.
How many EOFs do people have?
Yeah, exactly.
Too many.
I think I've used I've used at most 2. Zerdone's.
I have 1.
Okay.
I think I have 4, but I don't really use any. So
any?
I just collect them.
Like you don't like you have them, but you don't wear them and you don't use them?
Pretty infrequently, yeah. I used to use my ranged one more because I would use that on Carapac. But now that I'm mostly using Necro, like I have one with my tier 90 Death Guard,
right?
But
that's what I have.
what I'm PVMing these days, I mostly don't need it, so I don't really use it all that
working
much.
Tier 95 down to tier 90 for unless you're like really sweating it out, why not just swap to the other Death Guard? What about you, Lemon? How many EOFs do you use on a regular basis?
On the Iron, I probably have 6 or 7. 3 of them are for range, right? I've got the dark bow, I've got the Zamorak bow, and I've got the I've got the 4. I've got the dark bow, I've got the Zamorak bow, I've got the ECB, and I've got the SGB. I think for melee I just have claws, and for necromancy it's just the Death Guard. So I'm gonna have to start building up obviously the Varanus dagger, I believe it's called. That's going in 1. So, we'll get there.
Okay.
EOFs solved a problem, but then they created a different problem, right? And it's
and I think that leading into that problem is an entire episode on itself if we wanted to. Okay.
I was going to say the Gloomfire bow will drop in price as well. We're looking at sort of first week prices.
Yeah,
it's not going to hold 300 mil.
Yeah, and if I could just divert us for just a moment longer.
Yeah,
switches have always been with us in RuneScape. Ever since whatever the Dragon Dagger was introduced, right? But there was a specific resource for them, right? That was limited, and now it's just adrenaline. So you can use as many as you want, so long as you've got the adrenaline for it. And it's like there's no trade-off between an SGB or an ECB. The answer is both. Maybe that's on the radar for the combat adjustments this coming year. I don't know.
The new toe ring, your adrenaline toe ring. Yeah, doubles your adrenaline,
and see, that's the thing, is that unless you address Switchscape by way of the EOF and adrenaline, these bows, like you said, Zerdones, it just becomes a question of what's going to be the best stat, and then what's going to be the best spec. And did we just solve that one monthly bit idea in a mini segment here? Scratch that one off the list.
I guess we know which one we're not polling.
Oh, the poll's already up.
Oh, the poll's already. Oh, yeah, you did say the poll's already up.
The poll's already up, and I voted for that one. So.
Well, shit.
Easy fix. Anything that's in the EOF uses a straight 25% adrenaline, and just leave it at that.
No, God. Too powerful.
Right. Shall we move on?
Yeah,
100%
the
adrenaline.
Legatus' Ember Staff. Again, a tier 90 staff here for this two-handed, again, competing with the Nux staff. 35% adrenaline deals 260% average ability damage. It also deals 1% increased damage for each 1% life points the target is missing, up to a maximum of 75%. This is reduced to 70% effective in PvP for the one or two people that care about that. I think this is an interesting spec.
Yeah.
I don't know how hard it's going to hit, but this kind of adds, I guess, a mechanic to your magic tool belt that would basically give you kind of like a Daraki kind of effect, if that makes sense. That's how I read that. So
it's sort of like an inverse Darok effect.
Yeah.
Where,
like a Ripper Demon.
Where it's based
thing.
on the enemy bits and bombs there.
Yeah, I think this one's gonna have more play than the Dark Bow. Sorry, the Gloomfire Bow will, just because this is 35% adrenaline cost, I think.
Yes. Yep.
So it's a lot more. It's just a lot more usable.
I like that this is a tier 90 magic weapon, because I feel like we were missing high level magic weapons that were able to be acquired outside of Virago and whatnot, right?
Seismics are ridiculous, and then nobody likes
and then
Spider.
It's Rax.
And then after that, it's Necastra. So
yeah, which is to be fair, pretty
easier than Spider.
Yeah, quite accessible.
All right.
Relatively.
Anything else on this, or can I move on to the Death Mask?
It looks pretty cool. I'll just say that.
Yeah. I've been having my eye on Magic, and I want to get into Magic on either the main or the GIM. I don't know which one yet. I think it'd be easier on the main because I just throw money at it at that point, rather than having to, get this GIM group to go to a Mascot, which I don't think's happening.
No, the armor is really terrible to get to.
Yeah.
Like, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Magic always has this issue with like group boss gating armor, and then it's just so different. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, if maybe
somehow Magic has worked its way into the group boss gatekeeping.
Yeah,
somehow
we need to find a way to teach Pern, Tanis, and Tim hard mode a Mascot.
Yeah, like the issue with Magic is like, in theory, we got a way around that with Masterwork, except that actually requires you to have
that still requires Virago. Yeah,
exactly.
I guess Range has it a little bit, but not quite the same.
Yeah, it's like you like Croesus is like fine, easy enough to do. So like that's it anyway.
All right.
I just want a little quest token for the group Iron Man. So Tanis can say, I don't want to do this quest. He puts a token in there. I can run and do it, and then give it to him so he can unlock the quest.
I think that would be really cool.
Mizalionar's Death Mask, and what this is it is a tier 95 Necro headpiece, which you say we already have one of those, but you can combine it with the Crown of the First Necromancer, so that it counts as 2 pieces towards the robe of the First Necromancer's set. And again, what this really is this is just a way to mitigate Switchscape for people who switch to something really like Cinderbanes when they're conjuring.
Yep.
So
I like
it's
that.
Also, I mean, more like that's what it is now. I think looking to to the future, and I don't know if they are going to do this, but theoretically, it does pose an interesting solution to expanding gear diversity while also still like not forcing that compromise on side effect, which is ultimately what
Yeah.
Switchscape is, right? Switchscape, the whole thing is how do we not compromise? And so this is a way to not compromise while still giving us options.
So basically, you're saying this is something they could look at for the other styles to still enable you to have your set effect, but just have you do one less switch.
Yeah, or well, what I was thinking is it's an option to now have like a new necromancy boot that does something. Like the necromancy version of like fleeting boots, whatever that looks like.
Right. Okay.
Now we have room to do that, and we're not compromising on the set effect that people really like.
Right. They sort of they've gone back and forth a little bit in terms of like how many pieces should be in a set. It's gone from 3 and then to 5, and then we had 4 with vestments, and it's back to 3, except no, it's 5 again with a masket.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
And it's not as big of a deal as like the elite skilling outfits because you get partial effect for partial sets. But it does create a difficulty in reward space when you're sort of pigeonholed into using your the full set of vestments or of Dracolich or whatever, right? So
all right.
I mean, especially with necromancy, which doesn't have a lot of gear at the moment.
Right.
Like there's a real question, like where do we put gear?
I'll also just add as a fun little tidbit that Sponge said that this was the first piece that they designed, the first reward that they designed, and it was specifically because he didn't like seeing his character's face when he was using necromancy.
Wow. I mean, the makeover mage can take care of that for you. But sure.
He said that I think he said something like the TFN robes don't look good with living skin colors.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough.
Oh, anyway.
The other things that come from the vault include water, soul, blood, and smoke runes. Interesting call on the smoke rune.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think it's theme more than anything else.
Theme, and I guess it's like a little bit of a trickle for like the Rune Goldberg machine.
Exactly. Yeah, the BitsBytes.
Combination runes aren't really that useful at all for combat, given we've got multiple rune pouches, and also like most players who would stack like 6 or 8 or 12 different runes in their inventory probably don't need the inventory space anyway. So
that's it. Well, combination runes I only use for Goldberg, and if the Goldberg's not on, if it's got combination runes, I'll look at not doing it today.
We also got Necrotic Anima Stones, Infernal Ashes, Dwarfweed, and Cadentine Seeds, as well as the herbs. I know we were looking for more sources of Dwarfweed on the GIMP, so that's nice.
No, we want Torstals.
Oh, just wait. I got your answer for you. Onyx Bolt Tips, Acadia Wood Spirits, Rune Salvage Ectoplasm, Radiant Energy, Rubies, and Diamonds. And with that, moving on over to the arsenal in terms of its 2 drops. First up is the Nodon Spike Harness, melee ammo equipment slot that can hold armor spikes. I'm not up on my melee usage here, so how does this go, Zerdones or Lemon?
Made armor spikes just a little bit better. Okay. I think that's more or less the net impact. They're just a little bit more stronger.
Okay, and decreases increases the damage that armor spikes do by a proportion of your melee power damage, depending on current life points.
There's like some theoretical synergy that exists with the abyssal armor spikes and the Jaws of the Abyss, but that's not really. The bleed build has fallen out of fashion, so that's not super relevant anymore.
I think the most interesting thing about this is that it's the only one that's not tradable.
Yes,
it's the one you have to get. And I mean, I'm not really following the official channels as closely, but I've seen some rumblings about, can we do things like make this a guaranteed drop after however many kills, or like ways to make this more accessible. That's not just, roll the dice.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's very, I mean, it's very much a mainscape problem, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of the things about RuneScape that's made it kind of unique and interesting from a mainscape perspective, obviously, is pretty much everything is tradable. So you always have that option of just acquire money to progress. And so having a thing that's not, you can't do that it's not wrong. It's just a little bit odd.
Hmm.
I think
Making people play the game.
Yeah,
God.
I think I like that from
Well,
that
I mean,
perspective.
the nice thing about it is that you can play the game how you want to, and then
Yeah.
you can do the things you don't. You can do the things you like doing in
Yeah.
order to skip over parts you don't like doing.
But the other thing about this is it's not hard. Like, I mean, getting some of those drops from bosses, I will never be able to get because I just cannot do those high level group bosses. Whereas
Yeah.
something like this, well, yeah, I might not like it, but it's doable.
It's hard in the sense that it's a test of patience as opposed to a test of reflex.
Exactly.
And like that is a form of difficulty. It is legitimately
Mhm.
difficult. It just depends on what kind of difficulty you like, really.
Sure.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. Yeah, no, I can see that.
And the other,
I like
Go ahead.
that it's another like option that they have available to play with. I'm curious why they decided that this was the thing in particular that they wanted to do it with.
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
good
the only
question.
other thing that's like this is the Nexus from Vorkath, Zamorgul's Nexus.
Yes, that would be the most obvious comparison.
which is pain, but that's
So-
more so because of the boss itself.
That's because that's because it's Vorkath.
Yeah,
Still haven't
so.
got that on my main yet.
But like it's also like a very low impact item, the
Yeah.
Nexus, and I'm not sure how much of a damage increase this is. It's probably not very much.
Well, and like you mentioned,
Yeah,
the bleed build has kind of fallen out of favor in relation to the big number build. So
Yeah.
the other thing we got from the Arsenal this is the one you're wanting, Lemon, Varanus' Mercy, tier 90 main hand melee weapon. And the spec behind this one is the Final Flurry. 50% adrenaline, hits the opponent 3 times, dealing 65 to 80% ability damage on the first and second, and 135 to 165 on the third, for a total of 300%, with an additional 25% critical strike chance and damage on the first and second, and 50% on the third. This is like 2025's Dragon Claws.
Mhm.
Pretty much. Turning melee into a crit build all of a sudden.
Yeah, the dark bow is sorry, the Gloomfire bow is very much like 2025 dark bow. It's like the Legatus staff is like somewhere in between like a Gothic staff and an Ivan staff. It's like magic never really had a strong special attack identity, so it's whatever. And then this is obviously like what if you mix claws and dagger together?
What I found interesting was claws are 4 strikes. This is 3 strikes, but that critical strike chance, I think, is what makes these
crit
ones
is a big
better.
Thing,
Yeah.
So
if you
this leads into.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you juice your stats right, you're probably hitting numerous 30Ks with this.
I'm not. I haven't played around with it to see what the damage cap is. Mostly because my melee gear is garbage. But it's really interesting that it gives us like a juice button in some ways for adrenaline with melee.
Yeah.
And you can see some meteor strike shenanigans that you could do with this. Or I guess if you were like Bridding, some cross style with incendiary shot or tsunami. So and I think this is something that has been lacking from melee somewhat. Range and magic both have some pretty good adrenaline juicing abilities. So we'll see.
It's also a good way of fixing Switchscape too, because what better way to fix Switchscape than to crowd out the number of switches that you can pick from if they're all decently good at the top. If you only need, say, the Zuck sword, this, and maybe one other, that kind of simplifies the scenario. Granted, there are people out there who are gonna min-max the absolute crap out of it, and you're going to want everything. But I think we're getting to a point, and this was the question I asked in the league's wrap-up, was that, are we at a point where you can, just take a melee build and have the Zuck sword and maybe one or two specs and have it be successful? And I think the answer to that before this weapon was yes, and will be yes after this weapon.
Do we know the actual price on these? Because I think they were talking in our clan. Someone said 1.8 bill, and I thought that seemed pretty high.
Well, we can check
I think it's down to about a bill now, is my understanding. Okay. Just under a bill.
So it would have been 1.8 like on release. Okay.
Yeah, Ellie, which take with a grain of salt because Ellie is not trustworthy. On release, I see around 1.3, got as high as 3 bill. But seems now to be hovering at around 950 to 975.
Okay. So reasonable as it, yeah.
Well, I guess that's that answer. I was wondering if I was going to be sailing this weekend or doing more heists.
Yeah, so I think right now it's the most expensive spec weapon, because I think SGB is
probably.
It might be just under 9. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I haven't looked at SGB in a while.
Other drops commons from this heist include time runes. That was quick.
Yeah.
To have time runes.
Time runes are really interesting, yeah. Yep.
Dragon dart tips, dinosaur dragonkin bones, orichalcum salvages, uncut dragon stones.
Theme. That's there for theme.
Black dragon hide, elder wood spirits, hydric bolt tips. Interesting, those are making an appearance again. Arbuck, Quorum, Herbs and Seeds, Luminous Energy, and that's that. So my thing is, and I was going to save this until our general XP and balancing discussion, which we can probably move to now. Say a league comes around in another year and a bit, thieving is in an entirely different position now with 120 in these heists, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
if we're talking leagues, can we just appreciate for a second doing this with the 5-second cooldown on dive or whatever?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. So XP. Initially, this was the thing when we looked at this. Heists were not the best XP for thieving this week. AFK pickpocketing was. That has since been hotfixed.
But heists, you're actually getting monetary rewards from with your drops. So I don't mind that they're not the best XP.
They are now, though, right, Lemon?
They are
now.
Yeah,
I know they are, but I mean, I didn't mind that they weren't, because you were getting that monetary value out of them.
You do get more value out of it.
I agree with you. I agree.
So what are we looking at?
You don't have to have the best XP and best money on the same thing.
So what are we looking at?
And the trade-off is the effort.
Yeah.
Well, let me just clarify my statement a bit there. I'm not advocating that pickpocketing should be the best thing. When I say that heist maybe shouldn't be the best XP, it's more for something like chests or stalls,
yes,
as opposed to pickpocketing. Although I think actually pickpocketing is still the best XP if you want to, well, okay, apart from some people are able to get almost 3 mil XP an hour with heists if they're getting 6-minute clears or something like that, but we'll leave that to the side.
I was hovering, I think, around 2.
Because that's not most people. Yeah, I think that's more typical. But with the way that they've rebalanced pickpocketing, you can spam click pickpocket every 2 ticks, and that's probably the best XP outside of really cracked heists. So anyway.
And to be fair, on launch, things like the archaeology professors, which were 108 thieving, were about 2.2 mil XP an hour. That's
too much when you're AFKing, yeah.
And that got brought down.
I think it's
to around 1.4 now.
Yeah.
And the interesting,
I think there's sorry.
No, I cut you off. Go ahead.
I think there is a discussion to be had about it seems like all of us here are in agreement that 2.2 mil XP an hour is too much for pickpocketing, but is 2.8 mil too much for heists? I don't know. Like it's such a high skill ceiling for it.
See,
but it also like that's an incredible amount of experience.
But it's also now, I mean, we also have to think now it is 104 mil XP, not 13 mil to max the skill.
But here's the deal.
So,
I came into this week thinking that the Cruxacal Knights and the safe cracking we had were too much and needed to be toned down. But maybe that's just me.
Oh, me too.
See, I thought safes should have been the max XP when you're in the lean forward where you're clicking to make sure you get it when it flashes and things like that.
Yeah.
Because you're not really making that much money out of it. It's all XP. Whereas heists, it's fun. Yeah, it's very lean forward, but you are getting those rewards out of it that are going to make you several hundred mil.
Yeah.
I like the balance between, do I go for XP? Do I go for money? Well, now you're just going to go heist because you're getting both, and it sort of kills everything else.
The way I see it,
I don't. I think you really can't discount the lean forward aspect, because that is the third leg of that stool, right? Is like, yeah, you're gonna go do heists. You can get your 3 mil XP an hour. You can get your however many millions of GP an hour, but you have to be absolutely mental doing them.
Yep.
Like you have to go nuts getting these insanely fast clears, and like that doesn't. We can quibble over exact numbers, but in terms of like that being really good, I don't think is intrinsically bad.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying you want to have those options and that that diversity in the skill. I mean, if you go bossing, you're not getting it. Although I suppose bosses do drop a lot of XP too, don't they? So
they not as much as they used to, but yeah.
Yeah.
But like we generally understand like combat XP to be of like little value. Which is like a whole other thing.
Yeah, it's because it's pretty much the primary gameplay loop at this point. It's the thing everyone's doing all the time. So
it's like incredibly valuable, like in this narrow band, and then after that, it's like, who cares?
Exactly.
See, the thing that,
but I mean, with going to 120, I don't mind it, but I would still like to see sort of some higher level chests that were better, or the top level chests being better overall than heists, and have that sort of balance.
I agree. I wouldn't mind if chests were the top XP, because if you're doing that many chests, you deserve a break somewhere.
Right. And see, the thing I wanted to point out is how they did this rebalance this week on the pickpocketing XP. They put a 33% XP penalty on the Sticky Fingers relic. And
it seems reasonable.
Sticky Fingers was
it was overkill.
Broken.
Yeah.
With that, what also comes into play with this on the pickpocketing side of it is that most of the new NPCs, and this is something I asked you earlier today, Lemon, seems to have been designed so that you can have 100% success rate pickpocketing without using the aura, as long as you got the full set of the master camo, the crystal mask, your thieving mushroomy bag, and all the other things.
I noticed that as something that really surprised me. Like, I can go to the czars, and I can go to the archaeologists. I'm at 114 thieving right now, by the way. So like, I can go there with my outfit, my crystal mask, my light form prayer, and I'm 100% success. I'm not getting caught. Like maybe once in a blue moon, maybe I get caught.
Yeah.
But I go to dwarf traders, which are like 90 something, and forget it. Forget about it. Those guys are brutal.
Right.
It's such a weird balance.
And see, the thing is, you mentioned the balance. I think the XP was balanced off of things like the dwarf traders and the Cruxacal Knights. But I also think it's important in this integrity era again to be making it so that content out there isn't aura reliant. Because, we look at any number of skills out there that are aura reliant. I don't think that's necessarily a good look going into 2026.
Well, that's why quite often I will sort of only do an hour of each skill. Okay,
Exactly.
I always run out. I'm going to move on to the next one. Use that aura. Move on to the next one. Okay, that aura's refreshed. I can go back and start doing that again.
Yeah, and 1.4 mil an hour to 200 mil if you are AFK pickpocketing. How? Like, part of me feels that that's too much.
Too much.
But
Too much.
am I?
Can I just state for the record, this, like the XP doesn't matter because this account already has 200 mil, but like I've nearly gotten 70 mil thieving XP this week on my iron pickpocketing for clues.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I mean, pickpocketing, an AFK skill that's like I can walk away for 15 minutes and come back and still be doing what I'm doing, should not be giving, over 1 mil XP an hour. I don't care if the skill goes to,
And I have an unfortunate thing to point out. And maybe this is me being curmudgeon-y or old-fashioned. Was auto pickpocketing for everything a mistake?
Yes. Well, let me clarify that. It was a mistake to do that and not rebalance things accordingly.
Fair.
It's if you want to have pickpocketing exist as this is your AFK method, you've got stalls and you've got chance as a moderate as like a little bit in between, and then you've got stalls as fully active, and then you've got safe cracking as even more active, and you've got heists as this like super like mind and body all as one performing at the ultimate limit, and like like that's fine. We've got these different knobs that we can adjust, but like the
balance
issue
accordingly.
Yeah, this has been a pet peeve for me over the years, is like suddenly just something will come from an update and like just completely break everything.
Right, because
sticky fingers being one, the Oblivious perk being another one, because that was what made dwarf traders viable, was that you used to get stunned and then you get kicked off and you have to click again, and nobody wanted to click once every 30 seconds or something to start pickpocketing dwarf traders again. But now suddenly, just let it run.
I like what they do at Prifddinas, where you have a certain amount of time and then you've got to move on to the next clan. I mean, you could have done that with the archaeologists. Like, you can do each area. You get 10 minutes or 15 minutes pickpocketing there, then you've got to teleport to the next area and do those and have it around. But yeah, I shouldn't be able, like the other night, I just sat there and I mean, I got like, I think it was 11,000 crow notes while I'm watching a movie, just clicking back, and
that was probably a pretty hot fix.
No, that was after the hotfix. I mean, not just one movie. I was watching, I was doing things and folding, washing, and doing all that. But I mean, and I think I logged out once where I didn't get back in my 15 minutes in time. But yeah, it was just like,
yeah,
I am not interacting with the game at all. I mean, it's basically the same as having an auto clicker, really.
Yeah, there's certainly value to having options like that exist in the game.
Yes. But lower XP rates.
And
it shouldn't be.
The thing I compare this to is I look at the two high-level pickpocketing things that people do frequently at OS, the Elves and the Firewatch, in terms of the money and whatnot that they bring in. Those are all active methods because there is no auto pickpocketing there, and they are at the same caliber in terms of profit and money that comes in from some of the things that were added this week for AFK. So it's like I was questioning to myself this week, and I was wondering if I was alone on this. Is like, was Jagex, were the people behind this update certain that this is what they wanted the drop tables to be and the XP rates to be on these? We saw the XP change, but I think now is probably a good time to look at some of the drop tables for these things as well, if that's something everybody's good for with this. Yeah. So, what's everyone's favorite new pickpocket?
Menafite guards.
Okay, why is that?
Clues.
I think I posted this in the Discord yesterday, but I had a nice 11 and a quarter hour session of pickpocketing Menophyte guards, and I had a nice stack of 256 hards and 206 elites.
Wow.
Yeah, Menophytes are like a license to print clues. It's ridiculous.
Also, the extra fine
I-
sand. It's telling you to make a blessed flask.
I'm gonna be real with you. I drop traded that over to a different account, save with the Vital Sparks, for my clan bingo prize pool. So I don't care. But I mean, honestly, like by the time I'm sick of doing clues, I'm gonna have enough to make like 52 blessed flasks. But it's insane. I have been of like multiple minds in regards to Menophyte guards, where like I've done over 10,000 hard clues on my iron. I've done over 5,000 elite clues on my iron. A lot of the elite clues I gathered either passively while maxing the account, or doing what the best method was at the time, which was shadow creatures, and it was 7 clues an hour.
7.
7.
Stop the presses.
And now we're looking at 18 elites an hour plus 23 hards an hour. That's a lot of power creep. But also, the fun part of doing clues is doing the clues, and gathering them is a chore that you have to do in order to do that. And Clue Chasers is completely on board with the. I mean, as a whole, I'm sure there are individual people who don't care for it, but as a whole, they're on board with the new rates, because
the limiting factor on clues is always going to be doing them.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair.
You know, it's like the issue with clues is like you have to spend all this time just sort of sitting around waiting to get clues in order to actually do them, and this solves that to a really significant degree.
I like it.
All right.
I wouldn't have suggested this, but like, I guess I can't complain.
If they're going to give it to us, fair enough.
And you know, it's like, was the previous method of like sitting in the wilderness fighting over spots for abyssal beasts, was that better? I mean, like,
Right.
it wasn't good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Or even hard hunting, where you just go down to AFK down in Taveley Dungeon with the Hellhounds.
Yep,
Yeah.
I did a lot of that, and you know, like we got the double ammo mold this week for cannonballs. Don't give a shit anymore,
Where did
because
that
I
come
don't
from?
need cannonballs because I don't need to kill hellhounds.
It's from the dwarven mine chests.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the dwarven mine chest.
Nice.
Yep.
All right. My favorite new pickpocket is the fairy traders.
Fairy traders are really great.
I was like, they nerfed the blue charms and the glacier earlier this year, but oh my god.
They've dropped them here.
Oh yeah, in huge
Yeah.
amounts.
Yeah.
I forget what the
Yeah.
number was. Let me pull it up.
350 to 375.
Okay,
blues
that's
and
on
crimson
par.
hour.
That's on par with what I was thinking. So
Yeah, but like Gladecore was locked behind like level 60 necromancy, and this is locked behind 113 thieving,
which
so
is
like,
a huge
you know,
difference. And like, we don't
It
think
is.
it's
Huge difference.
we don't think it's a difference because we have accounts that were already there. We have all the stuff. But if I just said
it is a big difference.
Gim's goal is to get 113 thieving, yeah, it's going to get 113 thieving, but it's not going to be able to do it nearly as good because I don't have the quest done yet. I don't have the outfit pieces. So there's a lot that goes into getting these numbers, I will say.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is also another source of dwarf weed seeds.
I was going to say, still no torstals.
No torsals here, but dwarf weed seeds, spirit weed seeds, and irrit seeds. Irrit seeds have been like the issue for me on my gim. It's like, granted, I got to use and abuse Zamorak before he got nerfed. But same with Razio. So like torsals and dwarf weeds haven't been too much of an issue for us. But like irrit seeds have been an issue. Like irrit and Avento. So I'm really pleased with this personally.
Yeah. By the way, Pern, on that. I believe it is the Kadarn chests that have a chance of giving Torstal. So we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there, but that's there.
Yeah, Kadarn chests in our somewhere around 160 seeds. It seems to be more or less split evenly. I think in this sample I just got unlucky with Irits, but everything else was pretty evenly split between Dwarfweeds, Torstals, Catentines, Lanthodimes, and Aventos.
Sorry, I thought when you said 160, I thought you were telling me you got 160 Torstals. I was going...
No, 160 seeds. Some 30 of which were Torstals.
What's the Kadarn chest?
103.
103 thieving.
Okay, so I'm close to that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that's really nice. It's like 160 seeds is like 2 farm runs.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're doing 10 seeds at a time, but
and another chance for a crystal acorn. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever gotten one of those before they maxed?
Yeah, I've
always gotten it from the free one that when you max.
I got that on my
I got one from a
Crystal Implink.
Crystal Imp. Yeah, I got them on Crystal Implinks.
The other, just back on pickpocketing, the Gobi scavengers. I am proud of this one. This was initially 5k techie per hour, but after the hotfixes, it's down to about 1,500 to 2,000. I think that's a sane number for this, and I think that this was sorely needed.
Double it.
Well, I mean, you'll get there eventually,
Screw
but
raids.
Sorely needed to, just get past that idea of doing raids to get 2 of the most important abilities.
It's fine if it's a slow grind to get the abilities, but like they need to be viable for people who either can't or won't do raids to be able to get those abilities because they're so foundational for magic and for range. I will say for Gobi scavengers in particular, like for all pickpocketing targets, you're gonna suffer if your target wanders around. But like Gobies in particular, just like always running, just nonstop, and it really, really, really messes with your rates. So like ideally, you want to like find a couple people to do it together and try and pin them against a cliff. But like
we need stun abilities for thieving, so we can club them and then they stay still for 5 minutes.
I don't know if this works for all of them, but something that I noticed while I've been mostly camping the Czars, and I noticed that when they stun you, they stop moving.
I've noticed that with Czars as well. I've not.
And then when they stun you again, they start moving again. I don't know if that works for all of them, but so that's
I'm not
led
sure.
to
That's
led to some people in my crowds complaining about people getting stunned and getting them moving again.
Yeah.
I actually want to mention the Czars in particular because this brings them on par with the Czar thieving that we have in OS, but these ones also have the option to give you rarely the item, the Jaltok Yit, which is combined with a Berserker necklace to make either the Am-Hej or the Am-Z. The Hej is effectively a strength bonus, and then the Am-Z is an attack bonus based on those 2 melee amulets.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody asked for that, but it's an alternative to EOF. And
I think the issue, right, is it's not an alternative. It's a yes and.
Well, yeah.
Right, because you only need to have the EOF on when you spec.
Oh, Switchscape, we're back. We never left.
Yeah,
always back.
I don't. Just to quickly mention it, the attack one applies bonuses to each attack that you deal, each hit splat that you deal. So they did make some changes to dual wield melee abilities this week. So that ties into that. I'm sure we'll see more of that as we go through the combat updates next year. So
fair enough.
It's nice to see that they're distinguishing between the 2 finally. We've had people saying we've got attack, we've got strength. Why don't we diversify those and like make them each have their own identity? And they're going down instead, at least currently, of dual wield and 2-handed, which are both attack and strength. So I don't know if that's something they'll clean up or whatever, but anyway.
We already mentioned the archaeology professors. They give Tetra Compass pieces. We have the Firewatch Tithers, which are the level 100 variant that are primarily focused around congealed blood, but there's also the Firelord Consumers that continue to drop congealed blood, but add Necrite stone spirits and eternal magic wood spirits, as well as the Ring of Viter as something that can be dropped. And what this is a ring, a skilling ring
that everyone wants,
that gives plus 5% hunter and thieving success chance. It also prevents aggression from Firewatch.
But it's
that was something
creature.
that was something that I was talking with people in the clan about, like how are they going to do aggression, because pickpocketing Vires sounds like it really sucks.
I think the way that they've done this, at least I didn't so when I did the Firelord consumer grind for the ring, I was wearing the what is it, the House Draken outfit.
Yep.
And boosting from 114 to 118 and using Crystal Mask and the Lightform Prayer, I didn't have any issues in terms of success chance or anything like that.
Okay.
So it goes back to the earlier point about the way that these things have been balanced. We're like 100% success rate either way.
Yeah.
So at 118 with the outfit, that's got to be ridiculous then.
Right. And see, this is the thing. I think a lot of the things we're looking at here, this is, primarily what I always saw back in the day when I first started this game as thieving, because I remember getting members and looking at the thieving skill guide and just, scrolling through it. And then you have, there were things like the paladins, the Knight of Ardoyans, and the heroes and whatnot. Oh God, 83 thieving. When am I ever going to hit that? And it has a chance of, giving some rune items and whatnot. So I think that's another thing that 120 thieving needed to do, was provide aspirational content like this, which I think they did. Again, it just gets down to the whole question of if AFK, or rather not AFK, but auto pickpocketing is too powerful. So
yeah. Have any of you played Melvor Idol particularly extensively?
I have not.
Nope.
So that's the RuneScape inspired idle game that Jagex has subsequently published. One of the things that was really interesting with the way that they handle thieving in that game is that each NPC has like a specific like rare item that is useful for another skill.
Okay.
You get a set of gloves that is useful for farming, or you've got a shield that's particularly good for like combat training, like et cetera, et cetera. So having picked that up a couple weeks ago, I very much see that reflected in, I don't know if they got it from Melvor or if it's, just a good idea that happens to be shared. But it's nice to see having those chase items from pickpocketing as well.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, it's sort of unfortunate that because it's an AFK activity, like, they're not going to be worth anything. The ring is worth something right now because everybody wants to get one.
Yeah.
Because it helps with heists.
Eventually it will be nothing, yeah.
But like the new amulets are worth like less than 50 mil, I think.
And see, that's the thing. If you make it so that auto pickpocketing is something that you have to unlock by way of a quest or something to that effect, maybe you're in a better situation. And that's why I was questioning whenever I was pickpocketing this week is, oh my God, are these things supposed to be this generous? So, anybody have anything else on the pickpocketing side of this update before we move on to the stalls and chests?
I'll just quickly add that I happen to have a lower level account. I had 58 thieving, and I just so happened to bond it up. Like for bingo related stuff. So I thought, great, perfect. I can test what this is like at a lower level. So for context, level 58 thieving has no outfit, no crystal mask, no Ardoin cape, no nothing. I went over to the archaeologist trainees, which are level 50. And thieving kind of sucks when you're getting bashed around and you have to re-pickpocket every 20 seconds. Yeah.
So the perspective then should be that. So the perspective then should be is that it's something you already have to buy into heavily to be successful.
Yeah, and I don't have a good sense of what thieving XP rates are at that level, broadly speaking. When I did it on the GIM, I did Menifite Marketeers, which were extremely AFK, but not very good experience.
Yeah.
But it was fine because like I did it when I didn't need to be doing anything. But I was getting 80,000 XP an hour at level 58, which seems like a lot to me. Like for context, like level 58 is like 240,000 experience. So to be getting a third of that every hour seemed like a lot, but I'm not, like I don't know how safes compare at that level bracket or anything like that. So
yeah, that is something to lean into, and maybe something we can do through December, because my GIM is at around 61, 63 thieving, right about to unlock safes. So would be an interesting experiment nonetheless on
Once
that.
you hit safe, she'll fly through.
Yeah, safes are really fast once you get there. I mean, I think Lemon raised an important point. Like, for all we've been talking about how AFK thieving is at the high level,
it's
like,
all because of our outfits
it really only is that if you are stacking all these boosts. Like,
yeah,
obviously I'm pretty high level, but I'm gonna out myself as a non-optimal. Until this week, I never used Crystal Mask.
sure.
And the first 2 days of this outfit, or of this update, I wasn't using Crystal Mask. And pickpocketing sucked. I was reminded very starkly how much I hate training thieving, and this is why I hate training thieving, because pickpocketing sucks unless you're stacking every boost. So, like, is it okay that a fully AFK training method is 2 mil an hour or whatever? Maybe,
1.4.
maybe not. But let's not forget that thieving isn't fully AFK unless you've bought into all of these upgrades.
And then you have to keep charging those masks
like
and things like that. So
it's not. It does get to a point where it's not super high intensity, but you do need to buy in.
Right.
Okay, so perhaps that's a balancing feature then.
I'm talking because I mean I've just got the Keldergrim outfit on the Iron Man, and I wasn't doing the professors. I was just doing the standard archaeologists.
Yeah.
So, and that was
fun note on that.
So, yeah.
I was pickpocketing supposed archaeologist for like 90 minutes on Monday. I thought I was pickpocketing the right ones. I was pickpocketing the level 78 ones instead of the level 108 ones. Until I checked my XP per hour and had the I'm at 100% success without Crystal Mask. Let me check my XP. Oh, I'm at the level 78 ones.
Yeah.
That's not where I thought that story was going to end. I thought for half a second you were going to tell us that you were pickpocketing the archaeologist from the dig site quest.
That would have been so funny.
That would have been a very Shane thing to do, let's be fair.
I only went half the way though. I only did 78 instead of like 5.
One other thing I'll add on pickpocketing, and also relates to chests as well. New sources for Pure Essence are very welcome.
Oh, right. Wizard Tower Master Mages.
Doesn't super change the meta because at most, so for pickpocketing, it's maxes out at about 6,000 Pure Essence per hour, which is like decent. But when you consider like the best source for them is Abyssal Demons, and that's like 15k an hour with the best in slot setup, it's like hey,
Pern, the Wizard Tower Master Mages have a 1 in 3,000 chance of dropping the Soul Talisman.
Yes, that's very welcome. That's very welcome. It's a bastard to get.
Yeah, Soul Talismans suck.
Yeah, I got it on the finally all boosted for the those creatures down there.
Yeah, getting that on Leagues was a real pain.
Oh my god. All right.
Yeah, I got it on Leagues and then realized that I've got to go and do all the quests too now.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right. I'm not going to mention stalls and chests too much because those need
skulls are
exist.
not worth talking about at all.
They're there. They have some interesting drops behind them. They could use a pass to bring them into the modern era, I think.
None of the stuff is noted from them, so it's like really awkward.
Even with the cape?
They're not good XP. Yeah, the cape doesn't work. It only works on pickpocketing.
Okay. Right.
Well, that sucks.
Because thieving's been pickpocketing, the pickpocketing skill and the safecracking skill for so long.
Yes, Spongehead has mentioned that he would like to see that perk change from the cape and have the noting of items from thieving be accessible earlier on through a different source. As a general philosophy, he is of the belief that the 99 and 120 skill capes perks shouldn't be that impactful, which is why we just have like a token reduction of loot loss from the
120 perk is really
from the
not
120 cape.
Yeah, I was really hoping to look and see what the chests would do, but I did.
They're so disappointing.
Yeah, I did spend some time there. I was hoping they'd be a greater source of ink, but they're not.
No.
They're not. It's like
ectoplasm and ashes, which is like
375 ecto and like a token amount of ink. It's just like the Raziel chests are even more depressing. So don't worry. You get like 2k impure essence an hour, and then you get like 4 minutes worth of rune crafting in runes per hour. It's really bad.
and they don't even compete XP wise with the AFK pickpocketing. So
I mean, it's about the same.
Yeah.
So like the Raziel chests are like 1.45, which is like the same.
Right,
as
but why
would
do
be.
those when you can have it be AFK and
Yeah.
noted from a pickpocket
and get better loot?
Yeah. So what do we do with stalls and chests? Like what's the deal with them? Like how do you make them better?
Just leave them as low end.
I think chests just need like an XP boost and like a loot boost. They just need to get boosted. I think the skilling loop of them is fine. It's like
just give them more loot because they're not
attentive-ish, but not that attentive type of thing. And it's like, I don't know, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's not uncomparable to like woodcutting.
Yeah.
And again, something with your thieving guild and all that, another reward slot there could be something that you carry that notes them for you.
Yeah.
In that lower part.
Could be.
Yeah, one thing I'll say, like just to pick on a really terrible chest. I spent a bit of time at the Wizard Guild chest because I'm like, oh, it gives disassemble fodder. It's gonna be magic themed. I wonder if it'll give one of the things, like I can't remember which, is it ethereal? It's one of the ones that comes from the magic offhands. Anyway, I was curious what it would be like. In an hour of thieving the chests, you can expect something like 75 pieces of mystic robes. And 500 elemental orbs for battle staffs and 250 mystic cloth.
Wow.
For a level 110 chest.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize
the
that.
chests are really undercooked.
I was going to say the mystic cloth will be handy in that, but I didn't realize they were 110, so no, forget
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I left that to the end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the mechanic pass on the chests.
Yeah.
I think the new chest mechanic is a lot better, but yeah, they need help to really be.
I was surprised at the respawn rate that they respawned relatively quickly too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like that makes it into an active training method.
Yeah.
But then you get into that problem of like, it's an active training method, but why would you do it? It's the same XP as the pickpocketing.
Yeah.
But that's it. That's, I mean, okay, we're saying
the
loot at the moment is crap, but it's far easier to boost loot than it is to nerf it. So let's see what happens after feedback and such after a month, and hopefully we'll see them do something over it.
Yeah,
it's not unsalvageable.
And
I'm actually gonna come out in defense of chess here real quick.
All right.
So the thing that we just talked about in terms of pickpocketing is it's good so long as you have all of the stuff to make it not require a lot of effort. And one of the things we talked about earlier on with Heist is that this could be a really good early account progression for a new Iron. And if you wanted to rush 95, 114 thieving for heists, you could do so. But depending on how quickly you want to do that, you're not going to have what is it, within the light for Crystal Mask and the light form prayer, right?
So maybe it's a low
you may or may not
startup.
have invention, right? So like you're not gonna, so like pickpocketing isn't going to be as good. So like
frame it as
there's
like an alternative
opportunity
to the
that chess
pickpocketing
could
path.
be, yeah, chess could be better
It's
earlier
the
on
low,
when you don't have
the low
the full
startup method.
the full thieving kit. Yeah,
Okay.
that's my theoretical. I don't know if that's actually the case or
No, I
not.
think that's a fair assessment with that. And they with that, they do have a few of their known issues that they have posted as well, in line with everything here, including all the hot fixes. They posted the current loot tables here about this. They say that item quantities are not listed as each drop has a variable range, and players would typically perform around 2,000 pickpockets per hour or 3,000 with the Sticky Fingers relic, though this will vary with active buffs. So based on that, you can then extrapolate from these tables what people can expect. And, we'll of course wait, see, and watch this, and just make notes if there's going to be any changes going forward as we head into December, including fixing the invisible players issue that I thought I was the only one in the heist, but apparently people were just invisible.
Yeah, it's been hard to tell. Are people not doing heists because they're too busy pickpocketing, or can you just not see them?
All right. Overall, I think this is a solid 120 launch. And looking at all the other 120s, aside from skills that launched as 120, so let's just put necromancy, invention, archaeology, and dungeoneering aside. In terms of skills that go to 120 and keep the essence of the original skill intact, I think that they probably did better here than Slayer. And in the long term, this will probably be better than the 120 farming and herblore launch as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure if I feel like this is better than herblore or not. My inclination is like yes, but I haven't reflected on that until more than 15 seconds ago.
Fair. Zerdones, Pern, any final thoughts on this in terms of its place?
I agree with you on that. As a launch to 120, we were told that they were going to be doing more 110s, but I think this is one that deserved 120 because they had so much there to do, and I think they've done it really well, and no complaints at all.
Yeah, I think this would have been a lot more disappointing if it had launched as half of this content.
Exactly.
And go to 110.
Yep.
Yeah, if it was just the one heist.
The one heist and, like 3 new chests and 4 new pickpockets. And
that would have been on par with the other 110s.
Well, that's right. And I think they had enough and they've done enough to have a legitimate. And as you said, with Slayer, I love Slayer, but there was just not enough behind it for a 120 release. Yeah. Whereas this really is completely filled out and feels complete, a complete 120 skills. So well done to the team.
Final word to you, Lemon. Anything else?
This is really great. I wish everything was as wonderful as this was, because like this is probably the second best update of the year. And I think the only reason that a Masket is better is because I'm lumping Masket and the Quest finale in the same update. This is like if every skill expansion was like this, like we'd be eating good.
So your Masket's my worst update of the year. So.
They cooked. The team cooked. And obviously, it's more than just the one dev behind it, but there was that one patch note earlier this year that said Mod Sponge was doing the Lord's work. Well, here he is again.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's our new fave.
Can I take us in like a what could the future look like direction for a moment?
Yeah.
One of the earlier concepts that they had for heists was more agility based and was more was actually multiplayer. I think this was an old Game Jam idea that I think was.
Oh, these were the skill dungeon
from
things.
Mod Days. Yeah. So like, could you imagine that? Like, what if we had something that was like Heist but was for agility?
Well, that's what I said. This is like the
I know that's
future
your
of
sepulcher, but
this
like,
is like
what
the
if we just
future of
had a whole
dungeoneering
sepulcher? Like,
and support skills like that.
Yeah, like what if we had something like this for other skills? Like, what if agility was this? Or what if agility was just integrated into something like heists in a way that was more XP rewarding, right? What if you had an agility thieving hybrid for a heist and it,
except make agility the primary.
Half thieving XP, half agility XP. It's like, it's a great way to fix agility.
Yeah.
It's like running a heist is not, in theory, it's not that different from running, a well-designed agility course.
And that's what I said at the very beginning with the Vault of Hereditas, is that I was thinking of what this could mean for other skills. So
yep.
I'm glad we've come full circle on that. That's where it needs to go. All right. We were wondering where the league stats were. We got them, and this will be the last thing before we wrap here. 82% chose Excavator, 7% Divine Woodcutter, and with that, then that gives us 11%. 11% for the Animal Wrangler. Okay.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Farming Frenzy, 70%. 18% Golden Footed, 12% Five Finger Discount.
Yeah.
What I'm learning is that for a lot of these, I was in the minority by a larger percentage than I thought I was.
On my second playthrough, the only thing I missed about the farming relic was Cruisour.
Yeah.
Golden Footed was superior in every way.
Yeah. And I think it feels to me like the XP from Cruisour was kind of bait. But I don't know. I didn't properly experience it.
That was nuts.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like I missed Golden Footed. Like, to me, the nice thing, the two main things about Golden Footed were you basically got free 120 agility, which is like, that's points, so sure. And you got easy money. But I didn't find money that impactful.
No.
Money was really impactful for me early on because it let me buy farming.
And see, I didn't need to buy farming because I had Farming Frenzy.
Yep.
Sure, yeah. It was really nice to be able to buy the fruit trees, though, from Coeden.
Farming Frenzy was so easy, though, with, just go down the Cruisour to train up my my dungeoneering and early rune crafting was fantastic.
Teleports.
Really, it's early money, but once you got to perfection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which was not hard.
73% took the Slayer Assassin's Insight, which means that 15% took the Ingenuity of the Humans Nexus thing. And 12% took Fairy's Flight.
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised by this.
I mean, to some extent, I feel like this is... it's some combination of people following guides, because 100%. I think this was the RS guy. But I think also part of it is just people really like Slayer.
I love Slayer.
Sure. Yeah.
It was so fun doing it on here.
The reality of it is that this tier didn't manage the most. Or it didn't matter.
Yeah, my feeling on these three was that they were like pretty well balanced. Like there were specific use cases where like one might be better than the other. But like I took Fairy's Flight because I didn't take the farming relic. So like getting to farming patches was really important.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated just like being able to use fairy rings or spirit trees without having to think about it at all. That was really nice. And then the teleports to the farming patch, which was just gravy on top. So
Yeah, I took Fairy's Flight because just there's farming plots everywhere. So
yeah.
you pretty much got like full overworld coverage. I will say the one nice thing about Assassin's Insight is there are a couple of Slayer mobs that relic let you bypass the quest requirement for.
God Wars Dungeon.
Sure.
And to
God
yeah,
Wars
and to
Dungeon,
teleport to them so
automatons.
easily too. Like getting to dinosaurs and things is
Yeah,
painful. So having
some
that
of them,
relic
yeah.
to teleport to, and if you hadn't noted anything yet, just to go back, drop your bones, so you didn't have to just bury the bones there. You could use them for other things. I really enjoyed
I think it
Assassins.
depends on how much combat you were doing, because like for
Mm.
me, like yeah, dinosaurs are a pain to get to, but my entire experience of dinosaurs was I need some points. Ooh, killing 50 dinosaurs, that's points. I'm gonna go do that. An hour
Mm.
later, I'm done, and now I'm never gonna go back again.
No, that's
I don't
fair
care.
Yeah.
enough.
And
Yeah.
that's me. That's how I was
Yeah.
playing.
My entire experience of the Slayer skill was like I don't know, I point boosted in with Jacqueline for like
Yeah.
1,000 points or something like that to be able to purchase Slayer Reaper tasks. And then I just got all of my
Reapers.
Slayer experience through Shattered Worlds, which I didn't need to do because I also would have gotten all of that Slayer XP anyway through Abyssal Beast contracts. So
Moving on to tier 4, Clue
Slayer's so
Connoisseur,
silly.
70%, 21% Production Master, 9% was a Rejuvenation.
9% for rejuvenated is higher than I would have thought.
I will
regret
agree
doing-
to that, yeah.
I regret
I'm
doing the
curious
clue.
what those 9% people picked.
Tanis
Excavator.
got both the thieving one and the agility one.
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of that was Excavator, to be completely honest.
People who pick Animal Wrangler and realize they made a mistake.
Yeah.
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 Maybe.
The clues, we summed up 5,000 points. In reality, you go for Production Master, you're going to get, 99s and the 50 mils quicker. So that's a decision you make on that. I probably would have went Production Master looking at it now, given that I know with this league how to get from tier 4 to tier 5 without clues. So
One of the things that sorry, go ahead, Sir Downs. I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I kind of agree. Like, I took Clue Connoisseur. The problem I found with it was you got so many clues. And, like, yeah, clues are pretty easy to do, but just the sheer number of them was so overwhelming. Like, I know this is going to sound like Bush League numbers to Lemon 10,000 hards, but I'm looking at my clue pouch with 150 elites, and I'm like, I know this is easy, but I just don't wanna.
That's right.
It took the fun out of clues. Like solving a clue on leagues was a chore. Like it wasn't enjoyable.
Not at all. I said exactly
Yeah.
the same thing to Shane. I said I would not choose that next time on leagues.
My issue, I took Clue Connoisseur on my second playthrough, which I then ended up not finishing. My issue is that like at tier 4, like I had zero capacity to really get any clues. Like I
Right.
ended up sitting at Hellhounds for a while, but it was like I felt like it didn't help me at all in terms of like getting to tier 5 or to tier 6.
Yeah. Tier 5, 69% barbarism, 2% bombardment. We unfortunately can't pin where Soulborn or Crit Happens landed in here.
Yeah.
I feel like Soulborn was going to be number 2.
Yes.
Hmm.
And, no surprises there. And no surprises with tier 6. 99% Perfection, 1% Banker's Note. And the question remains, one of you said this in pre-show, is that a rounding error?
Well, I was going to say, we know how many old school players came to RS3 leagues.
Who misclicked?
I don't know if anybody saw this, but the RS guy did a Leagues playthrough where he like specifically took all of the terrible relics. And the number of places where Banker's Note just doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work in Virago. It doesn't work in the Fight Caves. Like, it just...
What?
I honestly feel like Jagex put it in just because they knew Old School was expecting it. And they were like, we know nobody's going to take this because why would they ever not pick Perfection? But we got to have it.
Yeah. And like, the thing that everybody always said about Perfection... Sorry, Perfection, about Banker's Note was like, oh, well, it solved runecrafting, but like, we all know that pure essence is not easy to come by in RS3.
Well,
it doesn't solve the main problem of getting pure essence.
Yeah, I mean, the chest, the Archmage's chest, depending on what your needs are.
Yeah, I mean, if you're only going for 120, if you're only going for 99, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
When I got my excavator, I went straight down there and just mined a whole ton of the pure essence down there because it was just banking it, and I had 20,000 in 45 minutes.
And it's decent early mining XP too, so.
Okay.
Like it's not fantastic. It's not going to be breaking
25 per, but still, it was just for starters to get me started. That was more than enough that I needed.
And then tier 7, 57% Ascension and 35% Everlasting Faith, 8% Specialist. I thought
so that was the only one I wasn't.
I would have thought Everlasting Faith would have been higher.
That's the one
I
I
would
had.
have thought Specialist would have been higher, especially with the Malay Relic.
Specialist was so much fun. It was so much fun. And it was
carried
so
me through Zuck.
Yeah.
1 through 6, I had all the top ones, but yeah, I had second in tier 7, so, and I was happy with my choice.
But this chart on its whole shows how imbalanced this league was, and I hope with the idea of the next league, whenever that happens, is that we see a little bit more balance between choices that players take.
God.
Because this is just off the wall.
The least picked, most picked perk was Ascension at 57%.
I mean, I feel like there's a balance argument to be made, but I also think, I mentioned this earlier, you can't discount how much we're all meta slaves.
True.
How many people just went to that site that the RS guy made and just like, yep, no thoughts, only checklist.
Yep.
Which that's not a bad thing to do, but I don't intend to I don't mean to criticize that, but like it does contribute.
Other ways would have worked. It's just that having one specific path through, you raise the question if that's a good thing or not. And I think that is something to consider design-wise for the next league. So,
I guess what I mean is, like, I think there's always going to be
a best way.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there is. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. Maybe there is a way to make all choices equally viable. But my intuition is that we're always going to find a best way. Partly just because of how the game's community has evolved. At the highest end, everyone's always looking for the optimal route. They treat the game as an optimization problem, and then that filters down to us plebs. Except for Parnassius, who apparently didn't know this was a thing. So,
no, I knew it was a thing.
Parnassius is winning. Parnassius got all of us beat.
We just talked about it on the show, and like even at the, I was still tossing up between Perfection and Banker's Note until I realized playing through that, well, I don't need that. And once I've got Perfection, I can make note paper if I needed to anyway. So it was just like, that was a no-brainer. And the Clue Connoisseur, I would not choose that again next time. But the barbarism was just so fun. The melee side of things on that was incredibly fun.
Yeah, the only thing I miss about leagues is my beloved Dragon 2 hand spec.
Oh yeah,
just melt the room.
All right. Well, Good work this week, folks. Let's start wrapping this up here with some achievements. Starting off this week on the 27th, we have BladeCon with 200 million woodcutting XP, Mej Quest with 120 thieving, BladeCom again with 200 million dungeoneering on the 23rd. Continuing on the 23rd, we have Chimney Lax with 99 divination, Robosaur Rex with 120 thieving, and Shantae Yuste with 120 agility.
Still on November 23rd, Balthazar with 99 agility and 99 fletching. November 22nd, Rhino with 120 hunter. Godin, 200 million dungeoneering XP. That is good on you, mate. Champ K-Mac, 120 necromancy. Lamp, 99 firemaking. And Legion, 1943, 120 woodcutting.
Okay. Let's see. Got Woody with 200 mil cooking XP on November 22nd. Rhino with 120 prayer on the 21st. Icy Defiance on with 99 necromancy. Lady Claw 200 mil cooking. Ormine 99 smithing. Valthazar 99 fire making, and Warrock 120 attack. And I'll just quickly add myself in here as an honorable mention for getting 120 thieving during recording.
Hey,
very nice.
Very nice.
You'll be on next week's show. And in other achievements, Zidone's hit Misoliana's Death Mask at 1 kill count on November 24th.
Had to get spooned somewhere.
Snail Mage got a Gloomfire Bow on November 24th. Shane 12088 got the Gloomfire Bow as well, November 24th. I threw that one in there for you, Shane.
I was wondering what you did that.
Lemon got Lemon was she was slacking. She only got a Nodin Spike Harness, a Legatus Ember Staff, a Gloomfire Bow, a Varanus' Mercy on November 24th, and to wrap it all up on November 21st, she also picked up the Shard of Genesis Essence. So having a quiet week was our very own Lemon.
Yeah, not noted the Ring of Vitur and the duplicate harness, but anyway.
Amazing.
I've been enjoying the thieving update. What can I say?
It has been a great week on that front. Really has.
Yeah.
For pick of the week this week, many folks in the U.S. have been traveling this weekend, and that the vast majority of that happens by air. So I have a pick of the week, something that is called Heirloom. And if you're into aviation and stuff, you'll know of other services like FlightAware and Flight Radar 24 that let you track airplanes. But what this one does, what Heirloom does, is you can enter in a specific airport. So somebody give me an airport that preferably is going to be busy around this time of day.
LAX.
All right, so let's go for Los Angeles then. You can go there and you can get an entire 3D situation of what the airspace up and around that airport looks like, to the point that you're actually even able to see the planes that are flying at higher level just passing over it here. So as we have up here, we have an Airbus A321 at 35,000 feet passing over LAX, as well as a CRJ-9 heading out over the Pacific at about 32,000 feet. And then you can also, of course, with that, see everything else that's taking off and everything else that's coming in for landing. And they color code it so that the yellow ones are the ones that are ascending rather, and then the orange ones are the ones that are on approach, coming in closer to the airport. And you get a really interesting picture with this if you put it over a busy airport and then you just let it run for 25 minutes, 30 minutes. You get to a point where you see the entire trails of everything that has been flying over. And so for some of the busiest airspace in the entire country and whatnot, you're actually able to highlight this and see it. Like if we go to somewhere else, like Pern's neck of the woods near Sydney, Australia, you can actually see during the middle of the day, there's a lot more traffic flying around. And if we let that just sit there for a little while, to create an interesting picture over the next 15, 20 minutes, if you want to watch it. So it's called Heirloom. You can find it at Objective Unclear or linked in the show notes over at update.show, and it even if you look at it here, it's got different little models for the different kinds of planes that are out there too. So quite an interesting little thing that I just came across the other day, and I thought, given the Thanksgiving holiday season in the U.S. and upcoming travel that everybody's going to be doing, probably is a good time to just highlight all these different various resources that people can have. So that's Heirloom.
Very nice.
All right. Well,
this is probably an unreasonable request, but I kind of wish, like, if I zoomed out, like if I zoom out from Sydney, all I see is Sydney, and I kind of wish I could see like the rest of Australia.
Oh, that'd be neat.
That's probably an unreasonable request, but it would be kind of cool.
Just keep zooming out and just be able to see the location of
Just
all
everything.
planes on the
all
globe.
planes everywhere.
Yeah,
Down to the People's Republic of Victoria.
And at one point it would probably become, too much to just scroll through just based on, what we were looking at. I think they source their data from Flight Radar too on this. Or no, we can actually increase the range here. There's a range slider. So the default is 100. So I can set it to a 16,000 kilometer radius.
Oh, hey, yeah, you can actually see.
There we go.
See, like, everything. Hey, that's cool. All right,
let's go back to LAX and look at that then.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
There. Still kind of quiet over there, but you can see the rest of them over the US for that. So,
oh my God, you can see.
You can search by call signs and whatnot as well. Clear the trails, flight following. So if you click it, it would follow it through. So, and Flight Radar has a feature that allows you to look at the planes in 3D view, but this one does it in just such a different way because here, see, just turned on the satellite. I don't know why I was showing that, but there's a way to turn on the satellite. You guys can't see my screen right now, but you can get a satellite view for it as well. I never actually looked into that slider and the satellite view before right now on the pick of the week. So that just increases the value of this damn thing too. So very nice. See, Zerdones fixed the two features that you wanted.
Perfect. I am content.
Well, that's pretty much it for this episode of Update. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Any final words before we depart from anyone? Words. Good. Okay. Well, Lemon, glad having you on the show. Thank you for your insights as always. They're always great to get in terms of the skilling contest. So thank you so much. Always good having you.
Always happy to put my spreadsheets to good use.
Excellent. We then, of course, have Zerdones. Thank you, Zerdones, for stepping in to be one of the resident non-Americans on this episode on this Thanksgiving weekend in the U.S.
Always happy to rep the home country.
That's right. And, of course, Parnassius, everyone's second favorite Australian.
From the arse end of the world.
And if you do want the updates delivered as they arrive, next week, I believe, is Christmas. So head on over to update.show/subscribe. We're on all the big podcast listening services out there, Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Spotify, and more. Just click on your favorite one, subscribe. You'll get the episode whenever it's ready. And, of course, we're also on YouTube at youtube.com/RSBANDB. Do give us a like and subscribe. Greatly helps the channel out. But with that being said, we'll be back next week for another episode of RSBANDB Update. See you then, everyone. Take care.
Happy skating all.
Bye.